Good evening, everyone. Sorry it caught me by surprise then. Usually kind of takes a few moments for that little kind of Catherine wheel, that circling donut of doom to revolve for a while, and it didn't today, so I was just suddenly like, you're live! So, okay, here we go. Cheers, everyone. Flake. Oh, dear me. That's the first one of the week. I've been good all week. I've kind of knocked it on the head during the week, it has to be said. Not exactly doctor's orders, but kind of more like a subtle or not so subtle hint from the physician. So, hello, Malcolm. I saw you there. I've just seen your email, mate. I'll be in touch with you over the weekend to set something up. Me and Malcolm are going to be having a bit of a chat about his guitar collection, and it will be on the tube of you. So, as is the custom, let's see who was in first and who else we've got. Jimmy James first in with a bunch of emojis. And then David Evans, Deco Dude, Jimmy James again. And Johnny Random. Jimmy James is quite active in the chat, it seems, early on. Vincent Brennan and Jimmy James again. Chris Otterwell, Deco Dude, Lee Myrano. I do hope I'm pronouncing your name rightly. Kieran's in, Kieran Roberts. Nightwish Lover, how are you? Jason Carter. And Colin Falcon's in. How are you, Colin? And then we're down to Dash Schaff. How are you, mate? Peter Collins and Dave Pegg, 60s man. And who else? We've got Ian Clark. Yes, we missed you recently, Ian. Hope all's well, mate. Brad Matthews, Nigel Arthur, Guitar Man, and George Wall, and is that Cowus Music? Saying hello again, back from the German flood after 4 long weeks. Cheers, Thomas. Oh, yes, I know who you are now, Cowus Music. Dougie Smith is in, and yes, so a little bit of housekeeping. I hope you're all ready for a good skinful of beer and a curry, those of you who are turning up for our little, shall we call it a party conference next week. So far, the attendees I have managed to make a note of me, obviously, I shall be there. Bottleneck Bob, my mate Jem's coming up from Leighton Buzzard. We've got Michael Palmer, James White, Johnny Random, Nigel Arthur, Craig Stamen, Steve Hoggett's turning up, and I'm bound to have missed some people off that list. So if you're coming and I've missed your name off, please let me know, because I can then make adjustments at the booking for the restaurant, and a fine time will be had by all. Don't let me know in the chat, because I'm a spanner and I'll miss it. Just ping me an email, and the email, it's jrguitartuition@gmail.com, or go to johnrobsonmusic.co.uk, use the email form on the website, ping me a message and say, you idiot, you forgot I was coming, and I will add you to the list. And I'm sure we'll all have a fine old time. Let me just put this one up. We have a new boy in the camp. Hi there, found your channel while I was isolating with COVID. Hopefully we'll learn a few things after watching your vids. Well, that is the point of putting them up, really. I do enjoy, when people say, oh, I get it now. When people kind of, something that's been puzzling them for, a wee while, and, I managed to explain it in a way that is, kind of transparent. It is a big thrill when you just see that the penny drop. I now also have a Harley Benton SC552 PF. Nice guitar to blow away the pictures in my in my head. Yeah, I don't want to know about the pictures in your head there, Cow's Music. And I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who watched my Strat shopping video this morning. If you look carefully behind me, you can see the very instrument itself. It's here, and I've already done 2 videos with it. There's an unboxing video which is going up tomorrow. Yes, a video on a Saturday. And then on next Saturday, there will be the sort of, not a full review, because I don't really do those anymore. You know, just they're a bit dry and a bit technical and a bit boring to make, let alone watch. But, you know, I'll just be kind of giving you me overall impression of it or as an instrument after having played it for a few days. But initial impressions are, well, you'll find out tomorrow. Yes, I've had a move round a few weeks ago, David. Yes. Anyway, while we're on the subject of videos that are going up, let me tell you what's going up next week, because there is another guitar video that I'm going to be showing you next week. More on that in a moment. Sunday's video, we're doing a little bit of a solo in the Dorian mode. You know, the sort of rhythm I've sort of fallen into lately. Excuse me. The pollen is strong today. The sort of rhythm I've fallen into in the past few weeks, where I'll do a theory video on a Wednesday and then kind of explaining the theory of something, and then show it as a soloing video on the Sunday. Well, Sunday is the Dorian mode. Then on Monday we are looking at, I think, one of Slash's best solos. So what's a great Slash solo? I'll leave you to ponder on that one for a wee while. Tuesday, what am I doing on Tuesday? Oh yes, I'm talking about the ones that got away. 5 guitars that I really regret getting rid of over the years. Then on Wednesday, it's another theory video. We're looking at the Phrygian mode, whatever you want to call it, on Wednesday. Thursday is a guitar review, not the Stratocaster. That's for later. On Thursday, we're looking at this rather fine beast. This isn't mine. I haven't bought 2 guitars this week. This belongs to a chap called Michael, same fella who loaned me the vintage V100 and the Jerry Donahue guitar. He's lent me this Gretsch Electromatic Double Jet. What a lovely guitar, it has to be said. Spoiler alert. You know, it's a lovely thing. And then on Friday we're back on the beat. Right, let's have a let's get into the chat. You need a softer, well, let's put it up there. You need a softer light bulb in your overhead light. Why is it glaring off me bonce? Is it? Well, I think we'll live with this one for now. Where are we? There are 3 guitars I really regret selling, says Malcolm. Yeah, well, it's not like you've got a shortage of them, is it, mate? Britpop bass. Let's have a look at what you're saying. I'm trying the Morrison's Export, John. A very nice drop too. Yes, it is, although it's off the menu for me at the moment, because I'm trying to stay on the 4% stuff, which means this evening, kind of a nice little bit of nostalgia here. I'm on the Carling, which was what I was on the very first live stream we did way back in the heady days of March 2020. We're talking about Slash solos. Yes, I left that one with you, didn't I? I'll won't keep you in suspense. It's Night Train. That's one of my favourite Buns and Toasties songs. You know, so I just thought I'd do the solo. Needless to say, the copyright was claimed, but hey ho. It's glaring off me bonce, is it? Well, fair enough. Yeah, the thing is, it gets. I'm sort of searching around for different lighting solutions, as management people say. They always refer to everything as a solution, don't they? And I've gone from one that was too dim before to one that's, ridiculous kind of, it's amazing when I walk out of this room and the light's on on the landing or downstairs or something. It's amazing how orange everything's looks after you've been in this room for a while. Where are we? What was the Carling ad? Not sure what you mean there, Deco. Been looking at, let's have a look at this. Been looking at Gibson Les Paul Tribute. What's everyone think? Got a feeling the Gibson snobs are going to call it a poor man's Gibson. Well, they probably will, but then again, who cares? I don't know if you saw, what's his name, the Australian chap, Shane in the Blues, that's him. He did a review of it a week or so back, and he seemed quite taken with it, to be honest. I get confused because with all of Gibson's models, it's because you used to have a Les Paul and an SG and a 335, and is the Tribute, is that sort of the one below the Studio in terms of kind of where it sits in the hierarchy, or is it above the Studio? I don't know. It's like just make a Les Paul and sell it for a price that's reasonable. Of course, no, they won't do that, will they? Should never have sold my Japanese Tokai Les Paul. Yes. They were quite the guitar, weren't they? I mean, excuse me, more beer. If you want a Gibson Les Paul, you should look out for an Orville or Orville by Gibson, cheaper, better quality, and will go up in value. Yeah, I've seen a few of those. Not in. I don't think I've ever seen one in the flesh. I might have done. Not that I can recall. Let's see if I can pour this without turning it into a disaster. But I've heard nothing but good stuff about them, because it was essentially Gibson's sort of first foray into building guitars overseas before they started resurrecting the Epiphone brand as a budget brand. Anyone got any experience of a Bernie Les Paul, says Chip Young? Not personally, but I can tell you that one of my all-time favourite Les Paul tones comes from a Bernie Les Paul. Take a listen to The Snow Goose by Camel. Fantastic album, as I'm sure many of you know. But the title track of that album is an instrumental, it's a whole instrumental album. And the title track of that is, for me, just the quintessential Les Paul tone, and it was played on a Bernie. Let's have a look at. Oh, thank you very much, Guitarman. Guitarman says I'm a nice chap. It's there are some who would disagree. Never mind. Izzy plays the solo in Night Train. The first bit, no. I always thought it was a Slash solo, to be honest with you. Thank you, Chip. Anyway, the video's uploaded now, and I'm sure it'll get shouted in the comments section if I'm wrong. I mean, on the live version, not the Guns N' Roses live version, if there is one, I don't know, but on the Slash live version, from the Made in Stoke gig, Slash plays that solo, and it is essentially the same solo, but give or take, a little bit. Let's have a look at this. I'll send you a link to the Excellent Lights China mic users and turn me on to. They're really good. Thank you for that. The only thing is, in this room, as you can tell, it's not the largest of rooms, and anything that's going to require erecting a stand to put something on is kind of out the question, really. Is that the Strat from GAC? Yes, it is. Do you want a closer look at it? Here we go. there she is, in all her glory. I mean, what I would say is it's a lovely guitar if you like Strats. I'm probably not going to hang on to it. I can just about, make the numbers work to sort of hang on to it if I desperately want it. But I did just buy it for the business, and just to kind of do some videos with and then move it on and hopefully make a profit when you add up what I resell it for and what I make on doing the videos. I'm just not that into Strats anymore. So I don't know, but it is nice. I've been having a lot of fun playing it, and it is, well, I won't spoil the videos, but you'll see in the unboxing video tomorrow and the review video next week. Actually, it's Saturday next week. So it's a lovely thing. Anyway, oh, here we go. Let's put you up on screen, Guitar Man. I bought a Gear for Music Les Paul model. It's only good for the fireplace. Yeah, those Gear for Music own brand guitars. I've never had one of the Les Paul models through my hands, but I have had a couple of the Strat ones. What do they call it? The Knoxville model or something like that. They refer to it. I might be wrong. But yeah, I mean, there's a nice guitar, or not a nice guitar, but there's a usable guitar in there, hiding in there, if you've got the wherewithal to set it up. But bumpy, lumpy fret jobs and everything aside, it's a beginner's guitar especially should come set up reasonably well, because nothing is going to put a beginner off more than a guitar that's unplayable, and those are, let's face it, entry level, the entriest of entry level guitars. Okay, Lee, you haven't noticed any tone difference between it and a standard. Well, one of the videos I've got coming up, the reason essentially why I bought that guitar was because, well, as I said in the video, the shopping video, Bottleneck Bob's going to be loaning me his American Standard Strat, and I've been looking at American Standard Strats for a while now, just to see if I could pick one up, just to have one. And they're holding the value really well. On eBay you're getting kind of decent ones going for well into four figures, like 1,100-1,200 quid, and ones that are a bit ratty, sort of 700 and up over. And so on the face of it, in terms of the broad specs, you got the twin point tremolo, you got 22 frets, you got the Alnico single coils. The old American Standards didn't have the the sculpted cutaway here. It's just 4 bolts and a plate. That is a very similar spec guitar, and I just thought, I wonder how they measure up. So given that Bob's going to be lending me his American Standard, I thought, well, I'll get one of those and check them out side by side. John, have you tried a Fender Mustang Micro plug-in amp or similar? Going on holiday soon and want something to take with me. Do you know what? I've been trying to get my hands on one of those for a while, but they're sold out everywhere. Dan, Mr. O'Sullivan, who makes my wonderful, this is still my favourite guitar, who makes this. I mean, look at the top on that. Isn't that just, isn't it fabulous? Dan, who made that wonderful thing, he's got the Fender Mustang Micro, and he is absolutely squeaking with delight over it. And he absolutely loves it, so that's what sort of put me onto it. Yes, Gear for Music's Sub-Zero brand guitars are better guitars, and you can see one just, where are we? that way on the wall there in the corner, that sort of P90 semi-acoustic Telecaster kind of thing. That's a really nice guitar, actually. I need to start playing that a bit more. Where are we? Let's just have a quick look. Vox and Blackstar do micro amps too. Harley Benton have one for €15. Not sure what to get. Well, Colin Falcon, who's in the chat at the moment, he loaned me his Vox amp plugs. Oh dear me, ages ago now, and I did a video on those, and I was mightily impressed. They were absolutely fantastic little bits of kit. I recorded with them, and you know, they held up really well in a recording situation. So you know, I've not tried the Fender Mustang Micro, admittedly, but I wouldn't have any hesitation about getting the Vox amp plugs. I think they're fantastic things. What's that, Tony Smith? Let's put you up on screen, mate. I just have my eyesight is going all to pot. I need to get these are new glasses, and I think I'm still getting used to them. And it's just easier if I read it off the screen. I have a Fender Mustang, and it's a great practice gadget, and I feed in Spotify and jam along. No complaints for the money. Well, yeah. It's another one of those products that I've heard nothing but good reports about. So, you know, I just tend to get curious. It's one thing when, you know, when a new product launches and all of the usual suspects on YouTube, you know who I mean, are all singing its praises, you know, and saying what a fabulous piece of kit it is. I tend not to take too much notice of that. I tend to read the customer reviews, you know, in, you know, when you buy something, most shops let you review it online. And, you know, I've seen nothing but good reports of the Fender Mustang Micro. So that's what's got me curious. But as I say, it's everywhere. It's out of stock, you know, email me when it's back in stock. And, so, you know, no doubt at some point I will get my hands on one. I bought a little orange dark micro. It's ace. Probably does a spare at a gig too. Yep. I mean, the first time I saw orange amps, a classic British brand of amplifiers, was in an American guitar magazine in the 80s. You know, I think it was Guitar Player magazine, and there was a guy who'd they did an article on it, and the guy was kind of talking about converting it into a master volume amp. You know, because this one that he'd got wasn't, and he was, you know, absolutely squeaking with delight about it. You know, and that was the first time I'd ever heard of them. And then, of course, you know, the 90s come along, and a certain Mr. Gallagher was quite a big fan of them, wasn't he, for his Union Jack 335. I've been playing for about a year and just got a Boss Katana. Great fun. Yeah, I loved. I had a Boss Katana in for review a little while ago. Oh God, a couple of years probably now. And the sounds it made, I couldn't complain about. You know, you could use that as a. In fact, I almost kind of talked about it on the, you know, the cheap gigging rig kind of video the other day. I didn't go for it because it would have been just too obvious. You know, buy this and then there's all your sounds, you know, all of your kind of amps and effects all in one lump. But I couldn't complain about the sounds in it. The only thing I thought was a bit kind of cack-handed about it was the way it USBs into the computer. For example, let me just move the webcam. Okay, there's my little Yamaha THR on the desk there. Now, you can see over there, you can just see the laptop in the corner there. That basically USBs into the laptop, and when I'm just doing stuff in lessons, I tend to use that and record into the laptop with that, and then email the examples over to the whoever the student is. But the thing is, if you do that with a Boss Katana, all of the effects and sounds that you've got on your guitar sound are then applied to the audio that's coming out your computer. So you stick an MP3 backing track on, and it's got like chorus and delay and overdrive and stuff like that on, and it just seems like, why would you design it like that? Yamaha didn't do it like that, so why did Boss? I don't know. It just seems, and there are workarounds for it, but it's a bit of a faff. Tony Iommi used orange amps. I didn't know that. You see, that the brand I always associate with Tony Iommi is Laney. Maybe I know he has used Laney amps. I'm not the world authority on Black Sabbath. It has to be said. I kind of got into them round about the late 70s, just as Ozzy was leaving, and it took me a while to sort of go back and discover their earlier stuff. Kind of getting into Sabbath around about the time, it sort of took me more down the Ozzy route rather than going back to the earlier Black Sabbath stuff. Here we go. Yeah, that's going up on screen. John, no, Laney was used by Tony Iommi. If anybody, that's going back a while. At the height of the the kind of lockdown kind of thing, I got a rather suspicious phone call. I think it was an entrapment call from somebody in officialdom, I suspect, that was asking if I would do guitar lessons face to face when all that kind of thing was strictly verboten. I wasn't doing any face to face lessons at the time, and they were kind of really pushing that they wanted the face to face lessons. So I strung them along a little bit, and I said, "So who's your favourite guitarist then?" And this young lady says, "Oh, it's that Tony Iommi." So she obviously Googled a load of famous guitar players, and sort of read the capital I as a lowercase L. So I thought, yeah, okay. I just said I'll email you when the when vacancies occur. Oh, what was that? I just missed that. Excuse me. Any love for Ginger and the Wild Hearts, UK Guns N' Roses? I mean, the Wild Hearts were a fantastic band. I mean, maybe they still are, maybe they're still going. That was sort of the early 90s, wasn't it? Early to mid 90s, when there was I seem to remember three bands actually from that time. I sound like Monty Python. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. But three bands I remember from that time are Terrorvision, the Wild Hearts, and does anybody else remember a band called Skin? They were absolutely excellent. And yeah, I've got to say, I love the Wild Hearts. Didn't they sort of grow out of the ashes of the Choir Boys in some way or other? Or I know there were at least one member was kind of common to both bands. Where are we? Skin you remember Skin, do you, Pez? Yeah, fantastic band. A mate of mine saw them at Middlesbrough Town Hall. I couldn't go that night because I think I was gigging myself at the time. But yeah, fantastic band. And he was always bringing like their albums into the, because he was a mate, but he was having lessons off me as well. And he was always bringing the albums into the lessons and saying, "Show me this riff. What's going on in that solo? How do I play that?" Yeah, the Almighty were a damn good band, David. Yeah, and Ricky Warwick, if I'm correct, I think he's now, or was for a while, the singer in the revamped format of Thin Lizzy and Black Star Riders. Now there's a band. If you've not heard Black Star Riders, check them out. They are, I think, the reformed version of Thin Lizzy, which I think was like, wasn't it? John Sykes and Marco Mendoza on bass, and I can't remember who else. Darren Wharton, I think, might be with them. But yeah, they started doing original material, and rather than putting it out as original Thin Lizzy material, they started doing it as Black Star Riders. I think the first album I've got somewhere called All Hell Breaks Loose. Fantastic album. Where are we? Blimey, let me put you up on screen. Blimey, just remembered it's the 5 o'clock live stream. Evening all. You're late, Johnny, but we'll let you off this time, mate. The Almighty played Middlesbrough Town Hall many years ago. Fantastic live band. Yes. They were just a good, gutsy, honest to goodness, tub thumping, barnstorming, classic rock, live band, proper rock band. And you all know me well enough to know that's right in my wheelhouse. Was Phil also the singer in Skid Row? I don't know. Was Phil the original Skid Row, not the American band? Sebastian Bach and all of that. No, he wasn't nowhere near that band. Yeah, I think he was briefly in Skid Row, but the name I associate with Skid Row is Bruce Shields. And if you've never heard, probably one of the earliest recordings of Gary Moore playing with Skid Row, there's a track called Benedict's Cherry Wine, and it's a really kind of crap song, to be honest with you, but it's it's some fantastic guitar playing from Mr. Moore at a very young age. Let me put you up on screen there, Tony, because I want to respond to this. Seen a few reviews of the Burgers. I think you mean Bugera V22 all valve amp. It's only $299. Anyone got one? No, I haven't. But I've been to see a band not recently, a couple of years ago, where the guitarist was playing through one, and what a tone he got. It's that with any other brand name on the front would be called a boutique amp. They're fantastic. Oh, here we go. Mike, China Guitar Skeptic. Just dropping in to say a quick hello from Germany. Well, so nice of you to remember us while you're off on your little jaunt there, Mike. Lovely to see you, mate. Hope you're having a fantastic time and can't wait to see some of your videos that you're making over there at Henning's Place. What a lovely kind of gesture to drop in. Thank you very much. It must be pretty quiet over there. Are you on a tea break or something? Here we go. Now, there's a question. Did you ever see the Heavy Metal Kids? No, I didn't. But I know the band you mean. They had Gary Holton on lead vocals. And those of us who are old enough will remember Gary Holton as Wayne from Auf Wiedersehen, Pet. I might stick a few episodes of that on later on after the curry. When it's getting to the messier end of the evening. Yes, I remember seeing them on. The only time I've actually seen them, the Top of the Pops 2 did a thing about them years ago, and I remember thinking that's that bloke off Auf Wiedersehen, Pet. Is Bam Mozzie in? I didn't see it. Thank you for alerting me, Mike. How are you, Bam? Why, aye, man. Yes, the Auf Wiedersehen Pet theme tune from the newer series. Where are we? It deems the problem with Bugera amps. The valves don't last and need replacing too often. Yeah, I have heard. The thing is, I've heard that said about Bajera amps. I've heard it said about Marshall. I've heard it said, I've heard it said about Blackstar. Pick a manufacturer who makes valve or tube amps, and somebody somewhere will say that about them. I think the truth is that there aren't that many factories making valves anymore. So, you know, whatever brand name is on the valve. I mean, when I used to, when I had the Marshall Anniversary amp, I always used to put Sovtech amp valves in it, which were just the cheapest. And I couldn't tell any difference between those and the Marshall branded ones or the Groove Tube branded ones or anything. And I got the same amount of time out of any. I think it's, you know, valves are fragile things, and, you know, if your amp gets, you know, kind of a bit of a knock in shipping, then, you know, who knows what can happen. So it's, I suppose it's just something that's inherent with valve amps, really. Gretch 2622 in Tobacco Sunburst with Bigsby, if anyone's after one. Have you got something to flog there, Chip? Well, good luck with it, mate. Valves are going to disappear one day, unfortunately. Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, I remember, way back in the early 90s, you know, articles in Guitarist magazine saying exactly the same thing, but they're still around. You know, I think it's probably more likely now, you know, with the advent of, you know, amp sims and stuff that really, really do nail the sound. You know, I mean, I'm sort of fairly well travelled in amp land, and, you know, I use plugins all the time now. I use the most of the tones that you hear on the recordings I do for YouTube are positive grid bias amp 2. And, you know, Guitar Rig's pretty good. Blue Cat free amp's not bad neither. But positive grid bias amp 2, the sims on that are absolute. I would stick my neck on the line and say they're indistinguishable from the real thing, not just in terms of the sound, but the feel that you get from them as well. You know, that sort of touch sensitive kind of vibe you get from a good valve amp. Bias amp 2 absolutely nails that. It's the best. I think, how much did I pay for it? 40 odd quid just to get the basic version. It's the best money I've spent on amp sims, you know, or guitar tone, really. Dearie me, your Mark 5, is that a Boogie Mark 5, Steve, needs 250 quid's worth of valves. Dearie me, that's enough to kind of raise a grimace, isn't it? Let me put you up on screen there, Johnny. Had a really low volume output on new high E string this week, about half volume, which was fine played acoustically, very strange. Swapped for another, solved it. Nothing to do with pickup settings. The only time I've encountered something like that, Johnny, was when I decided to be a bit of a bottom feeder, and oh dear me, this pour is going appallingly. I'm going to put that down and let it settle. I tried to get some cheap strings, and I went on eBay and found these strings for £2 a set called Tiger strings, and I had that exact same problem. I don't know why, but it just did. And I've never bought Tiger strings again, nor will I. Oh, here we go. This is an interesting one. Who are your favourite YouTube guitarists? Danish. He's my top 5. This might end up as a video, actually. So don't quote me on this if the list in the video differs from the list I'm going to give you now. Off the top of my head, I would have to say Danish Pete's up there, somewhere in the mix. Paul Davids. Who else? Tim Pierce. And who else? well, he's not really a YouTube guitarist because he doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he's, you know, there's plenty of YouTube videos of him. Guthrie Govan. I mean, you know, is he the best guitarist alive at the moment? I think he might be. Who would I put in the number? Picking the last one's always difficult, isn't it? Dearie me. I might have to say Jonathan Coe, because I think he's a fantastic guitarist. Oh, thank you, David Evans. John Robson. Yeah, I would say you probably need to broaden your horizons, mate. Let me put that up. Excuse me, the scroll ain't working on my mouse. Mick Brooks, John, when you are playing through bias amp, etc., what are you listening through? Studio monitors? Sorry, tech numpty here. Yeah, just the monitors that I've got hooked up to the PC that I use for, you know, kind of monitoring sound. You know, that's bias amp works as a standalone, so you don't have to use it inside Reaper or Cubase or Cakewalk or Logic or whatever DAW you prefer. But I tend to use it through Reaper because it's like if I'm playing, I'm recording. So if I'm recording, I'm using Reaper. And yeah, it's so just through studio monitors basically. No Dave Simpson or Chris Buck. Oh, how could I forget those two? Yeah, so the list is now up to 7, isn't it? So now you're seeing the difficulty of putting these lists together, you know, because, you know, there's always somebody you got to leave out, and then there's always somebody in a comment section that says, why didn't you include this person there? You know, Robert Baker is pretty cool. He is actually, you know, Robert's the kind of chap you'd go for a beer with, isn't he? You know, you get the feeling it'd be a good laugh, you know, over a few beers. Okay, Gear for Music Sub-Zero headphones are great at 35 quid. Oh, there you go, Jim. Yeah. Jim Mojito. You know, Henning Pauley's a phenomenal guitarist as well, isn't he just? You know, so it's like, this is the tricky bit when you've got to pick 5. You know, there's always somebody you're going to kind of miss off. Rhett Shull, yeah, got a lot of time for Rhett. Pete Thorne, yeah, okay, right. Now you see why these videos that I do, my top 5, this, that, or the other, you know, that's why they're so hard to do. I spend more time. I mean, the actual making of those videos is just, they basically take as long to make as they do to watch, you know, because I'm just sat here blethering at a webcam. But in terms of the preparation and kind of writing out lists and crossing them out and then kind of adding somebody and then, oh, and what about this and that, I can spend a fortnight putting one of those videos together. Top 10 list, not top 5. Yeah, the only problem is, have you seen my top 5 lists? They can sometimes be up to 20 minutes long. And, you know, if I was to do a top 10 list, you know, it gets to be, I do like to try and keep my videos at the most to 20 minutes long. Because a lot of the time when I'm scrolling on YouTube myself, when I get the rare chance to, you know, I'll say, oh, that looks interesting. Oh, it's 35 minutes long. I haven't got a chance to, I haven't got time to watch that. So that's why I try and keep the videos, you know, under a certain time. Top 200 best YouTube guitarists. Yeah, that will be a week-long video. I like that Adrian guy who does the Anyone Can Play Guitar channel just because he chooses unusual stuff to play. Yeah, he's one of the kind of the curveball choices, isn't he? He's a fantastic guitarist and very, very knowledgeable, but it's like You know, quite often he's picking stuff that I've never heard of, so I'll scroll past. But on the occasions where he's done some rockabilly type stuff, you know, I've always thought, yeah, you know your stuff, mate, you know. When is Mr. Hoggett putting some more videos up? Well, ask the man himself. In fact, I think you just have. Top 5 beer drinkers on YouTube. Jay Robson is unbeatable. Well, years of practice, mate. Thank you. Let me put you up. John, before you, after the passing of my beloved GS2, I took its organs and put them in a handmade telly. Sounds nice. Only bridge pickup working. Still got to work out where to put the knobs. That should be fun. The guts of a Gordon Smith GS2 in a telly. Yeah, that would be a cool guitar. Can't rule out another Gordon Smith at some point. We'll see. Oh dear, you've been having some fun with your health, Steve. I do hope all is okay. Adrian did the Joe 90 theme tune lesson. Yeah. I keep there's a few TV themes I keep meaning to start doing. You know, just that you know, old 60s shows like you know, the Persuaders and things like that. There was always kind of the odd good bit of guitar in those. Yes, Graham, let me put you up on screen. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing there. Blame the eyesight. There's a guy from Edinburgh called Paul Stafford Cook who does some great guitar videos. Really simple and laid back, but a great player. Yeah, I saw one of his just the other week, actually. First one of his I'd seen. And again, comes across as a really nice chap. Yes, it is a new Strat, Bulk Hogan. Here we go. There you go. There's an unboxing video going up tomorrow morning. I think 10 o'clock-ish UK time. So keep an eye out for that. It's a Fender Player series. Where are we? It's now full of drugs. Got loads planned. Oh dear me, Steve. Well, we'll have a chat in private at some point, mate. You know, hope you're okay, mate. Hawaii 5-0, yes indeed. What about your top 5 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s guitar players from each decade? Yeah, that's a video that's coming up. What I'm going to do is kind of do some riffs as well in that video. That's going to be another top 5 video. What's the tattoo about? Sorry, what's the tattoo about? It's a guitar, kind of abstract art form of a guitar, and this one is my that's sort of my wedding ring. I have got a wedding ring, but I'm too fat and it doesn't fit me anymore, so I got that done. Oh, I was in the good books for that one. John, have you ever played a double neck ukulele? I've never played the instrument of Beelzebub, the ukulele. No, I've never played a single neck ukulele. I just don't like the sound of the damn things. Sorry if I'm offending any ukulele players out there, but it's just not my kind of instrument. Phrases you'll never hear. That's the ukulele player's Porsche, or she's screwing the ukulele player. You know, it's just things that you'll never ever hear. No, I won't have it. It's the bagpipes, says Phil. Here's one for you, Phil. Told this to a bloke the other day. One of my students is a chap called Tom, and as well as being a not bad guitar player, actually, he's also the canon of Ely Cathedral. He's a clergyman, and he's the sweariest bloke you'll ever meet. Honestly, he is. You know, it's effing and jeffing all the time. And anyway, as well as being a clergyman and a pretty good guitar player, he also plays bagpipes. And I said to him the other day, I said, Tom, what's the difference between an onion and bagpipes? He says, go on, tell me. He says, nobody cries when you chop up the bagpipes. What do you think of Bill Bailey as a musician? Yeah, he's got it going on, hasn't he? I mean, have you seen that thing where, you know, I think he could have had easily a career as a musician. You know, he's certainly, you know, a capable guitar player. And oh, thank you, Das. You're a gentleman and a scholar. I don't know if you've seen that Bill Bailey thing where he plays Enter Sandman on, you know, kind of car horns, you know, the kind of kind of ones. It's one of the funniest things you'll see. A gentleman is a man who can play the bagpipes but doesn't. Yeah, bagpipe solo AC/DC. Well, you know, I suppose, but it's not. It's hardly the main feature of the song, is it? It's 12:48 p.m. Friday, but I've just got back from the grocery store and had 3 beers. Is that still okay? No, you need more, mate. What's that? Yeah, my fantasy band to start with Yoko on vocals and at least one bagpipe player. Can you explain why you love Clapton? Why is he good? God, I find him cheesy. You've obviously only listened to... okay, I always sum it up like this, right? Clapton has done 25 years worth of fantastic music in a 50-year career. And even the 25 years might be pushing it a bit. When he's on form... and I urge you, listen to the Layla album. If you don't like blues, you won't like the album, okay? If you're a kind of raging metalhead, you're just not going to enjoy it. So take that, you know, if that's the case, I've got nothing to say to you. But, you know, if you're partial to a little bit of blues or blues rock, listen to the Layla album and you'll get it. Or listen to the Roger Waters album, Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. Every now and again, he just kind of comes out with something that you think, okay, yeah, okay, I get it. And then he spends 10 years where you just think, yeah, okay, what's all the fuss about? What's the difference between a beginner bagpipe player and an expert player? Nothing. Right. Billy Bragg plays a decent rhythm guitar. Where are we? Might be biased because I like his songs. Yeah, I can't say I've heard much Billy Bragg, to be honest with you. Where are we? Clapton, great guitarist, but a bit of a prat. He admits as much himself in his autobiography. In fact, he goes further than that. He describes himself throughout most of his 20s and 30s as, and I quote, a real nasty piece of work. And, you know, so you got to admire the guy's, you know, I wouldn't call it self-interest or, you know, but his own kind of self-analysis. Have you heard the Tedeschi Trucks Band Layla recreation? No, but that will go on the list for my Sunday afternoon listening. Where are we? John, have you checked out Clark Hutchinson A equals MH2 squared yet? Not yet, but, you know, the list is growing mainly. Oh, Clapton concert on Sky Arts tonight, circa 2007. Well, we haven't got Sky TV anymore. We kicked that into touch a little while ago. Once shared a stage with Billy Bragg and the Tom Robinson Band at Rock Against Racism gig in East London, showing my age. Yes. Gosh, I remember that was the back end of the 70s, wasn't it? That'll have been. Layla album Down to the Band. Well, it was a cracking band, wasn't it? You know, who was on that? You had Bobby Whitlock on keyboards. I mean, fantastic drummer as well, Jim Gordon. And of course, you know, was it Carl Radle on bass? Might have been. But you know, the name that stands out there is Duane Allman. Listen to Key to the Highway from that album if you've not heard it. It's just Eric and Duane just jamming some of the fieriest blues you'll ever hear. Where are we? I think you mean Steve Hillage, Phil, not Steve Nillage. Sky Art is on Channel 11, Freeview. Yeah, okay, well, we don't have Freeview either. We've just got like one of these newfangled smart TVs now where it's all kind of YouTube and iPlayer and all of that sort of stuff. And that suffices, to be honest with you. Most of the time I'm watching TV, I'm watching YouTube these days. Yeah, great. So it was Carl on bass. Was it Jimmy? So Carl Radle on bass. He went on to play with. I think did he play with Clapton through most of the 70s? Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Bill Bailey. Let's put this up on screen, Vincent, so people know what I'm talking about. Bill Bailey, we had great conversations. I brought in my guitar and sang him his favourite Johnny Cash songs, played for Sean Locke when he was ill. Yeah, we lost a true comedic, I think, genius in the UK this week. Sean Locke, fantastic comedian, just one of those guys who... you know, a bit near the edge at times, but always got away with it. A bit like Billy Connolly, he always reminded me of, you know, because he could say the most outrageous things and get away with it just by his kind of sort of cheeky image. And he's sadly no longer with us. And, very sad loss. And that, I'm afraid, is all we're going to talk about tonight. I've got a curry arriving sometime soon, and I'm getting a bit hungry, so I'm going to go downstairs and wait for me curry. And thank you once again, everyone, for turning up. 152 of you at current count. For turning up and watching a fat, bald northern gobshite who can't get his words out talk cobblers for an hour. It's been a blast. It always is. No live stream next week because we're all out on the beer. And we're going to be eating curry, and there'll be photos took and stories swapped, and you'll hear all about it the week after, I'm sure. So until next time, thank you all for turning up, and I will see you all next time, which will be in 2 weeks. I'll see some of you next week. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.